So what about with pediatric trials, what about the supply of the medicines? How is that achieved? How is that managed? To tell us more, welcome Dr. Mandy Wan of the Evelina Children's Hospital in London. Welcome, and there's your clicker. Over to you, Mandy.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to first thank C4C for the invitation for myself to present here today. So, medicine supply. So the focus of C4C is medicine for children. So I don't think there'll be any disagreement in this room if I say medicine supply is a crucial ingredient for any successful clinical trials. But why is it talked about so little? Is it because it's not very sexy? Perhaps. So I've worked in this field for 15 years now, and I've come to the conclusion this is because the industry do it so well. They do it so well that we all take it for granted. Even as a pharmacist, we sometimes forget the technical aspect that is involved in the medicine supply. So, medicine supply is very, very complex. For industry-sponsored study, what you don't realize is that there's teams of specialists working together throughout the entire supply chain to get that white box onto the shelf. What about academic studies? Most teams do not have the pharmaceutical expertise within their teams. And this creates a lot of challenges, but it's really, really not talked about enough. And there's very little solution in the published literature. As you've heard throughout the day, there's continued widespread off-label use in pediatric practice, so there is a need for these academic trials to advance evidence-based practice in pediatrics. And also for new drugs in development, we will learn new uses for these drugs, so academic trials really play an important role. So I was involved right from the start of the C4C project. Trial Supply Expert Advice Service was offered to all of the academic POV studies. And 22 of the applicants came forward, and we provided one-to-one feasibility support to those projects. This involved a detailed review of their trial plan, and a report was written to them with options for the medicine supply. And follow-up emails were sent to them to provide additional support as required. We received 27 applications in the POV academic studies, and I think it's fair to say that most of those IMP plan was quite brief, which highlights a significant gap in our knowledge base in this area. And for those POV studies that were funded, ongoing support was provided to those studies. And these ongoing supports is critical to address the site-level challenges, the regulatory issues, supply chain disruption, which you heard about from Tria Kappa. So proactive medicine supply management is a key aspect of any successful clinical trials. So what have we achieved as part of the C4C work? We have developed an algorithm for evaluating the appropriateness of authorized medicines for use as IMP in a clinical trial. We've also in developing a database of a list of companies who can provide that expertise support for academic studies. We've also contributed to the C4C Academy in terms of the advanced course, as well as some bite-sized training for site staff. We've also got some publication, which is not listed here, which I should have, I guess. And there's also other publication in development, which really showcase the lesson learned from C4C. So what is the benefit for coming to C4C for these academic studies? I think what is often underestimated is the amount of knowledge that needs to go in to plan an effective supply chain. And I can see the pharmacists in the audience are nodding their heads. So a well-executed supply plan really does require an integrated knowledge of the study design, the clinical knowledge, the drug formulation, how we use that drug in pediatric, manufacturing, regulatory issue. So what we have in C4C is experts in these areas. You can go to clinical trial companies, but what often happens is they lack the pediatric expertise. Whereas within C4C, we have an extensive network of experts that we can talk to provide you with an integrated solution. So it's a one-stop shop for you. And what we do is we can provide tailored study design options in terms of the IMP supply plan for your trial. So let's take you through a case study. So Trio Kappa, which Leah's presented earlier on, builds on a single center trial, which operated using separate blinded and unblinded nurses to prepare the IMP. For the trial managers in the room, can you imagine doing that in 50 NICUs across 50 European countries? Perhaps it's impossible. So it needed a centralized IMP supply plan. So I worked with the project team at the beginning to evaluate the different IMP options. And as you can see here, there's some photos of some paracetamol vials on the market. They all look very different. And really is a challenge to choose which one to go forward with. And because of the expertise we have in the C4C, what we were able to achieve was to implement a centralized supply plan using paracetamol vials from France, sodium chloride from the UK. And what that meant was we did not require bespoke manufacturing, which would have taken a lot of resources and time. And by using authorized product that is already on the market, we already have the high quality assurance without any additional testings. Overall, it was judged to be relatively time efficient, modest costs as well. So, next steps, as we move from C4C to C4CS, I would like to continue to partner with C4CS by providing academic trials with that one-to-one support. The minimum information we need is a study design structure. This will allow us to talk through the different medicine options. The focus of the presentation today has very much been academic trials. But for the industry colleagues in the room, there's also something for you. You guys do really, really great work, but you don't always get it right. So in terms of how we deliver medicine in practice, there are challenges in doing it in a healthcare environment. So what we can offer you is that on-site intelligence of what it means to deliver your drug to a patient so they actually get the drug that you want them to get. So I would like just to thank you for your attention for today, and I would also like to thank C4C for their continued championing for drug formulation and medicine supply in clinical trials.
Thank you. Thank you.